call on that
phone call. Well, it was kind of like you were technically still streaming though, weren't you? You were just streaming with the wrong encoder, so it didn't have a camera or anything.
Yeah.
Just lots of mouse clicks and you going, what? What's wrong with the what encoder? I am live. What do you mean start broadcast? Everyone's first broadcast is like that though. I doubt that'll even go to archive, you know.
Let me tell you, Busters the other day, and hey, by the way, what's your audio output? Because I'm hearing myself. Are you?
Yeah, I should. If it was my show, I'd be courteous enough to constantly mute when I wasn't speaking, but because it's not, I've just been immediately lazy and not bothered.
But why? Like, what is it? Just larger, like PC speakers?
Yeah, because I've got big speakers and I can't be asked with putting an earpiece in. I've tried it; it's not for me.
Yeah.
So I just have it coming through the speakers, which means the mic picks it up. If I can hear it, the mic can hear it. So you can hear it again. Therefore, you get feedback.
Yeah. I was in audio for about 10 years. In music for about 10 years, and got into audio recording. So it's crazy how if I go out and get myself a nice mic stand, a nice AKG, a little, something like a 414. I once thought Dave Weiss was using a 414 up front. I'm like, that's $1,000, condenser mic. But I think he's using just like a digital thing. Anyway, if I use the mic, then it requires headphones, because now I have a really nice transducer that's going to pick up any sound that I produce. So
yeah, that's the downside with an active mic. It just picks up everything, even if you turn the gain right down, it's just sensitive.
It is so much more natural and so much nicer to hear your own voice through a microphone, though. These little, even headsets, they're the worst. They make you sound nasally. They make you sound as small as the actual diaphragm. Morguile, I got to tell you, man, I love the guy. God bless him. But his audio is the worst. It goes straight to my head. It's not his voice, but if you get that airplane effect, that like suction. And he has a thing, because I listen to a lot of the Glowbusters stuff on headphones, and when he speaks, there's a slow digital crackle that pops up, and it just sounds like it's like smeared, it's just like really low. But
I've got a silent PC. I went to extreme efforts when I built this PC to make it silent. It makes no noise. It's passive. It's got a passive. The heatsink on the CPU is passive. It's got no fan on it, so it literally doesn't have any fans to make any noise. It's cool as all frig. Skookum.
All my old laptop did was work. This is a MacBook Air, which I like, but having just a headphone jack kind of sucks, because I do a lot of, if I do any recording. It's
this is your very, very first Hangout, right?
Yeah, I guess so.
Right, let me give you some top tips then. First things first. Along the bottom, where you see my face and your face, currently there's no white box around either of us, correct?
Right.
If you put a white box onto my face now, that makes me, specifically just me, broadcast out live. If you then click it again and there's no white box,
the box is
then it's audio driven. So if there's no white box on anyone's face, it will be sound sensitive and click to whoever talks.
I saw a Hangout with somebody, how, let's say we both had if we both had our cameras off, our logos would go back and forth. Let's say I kind of just like, they would see my haunted house, that green thing. That is, I think they gotta switch that around a little bit and make it a little bit, have it a heavier gate, because it's gated. So once it hears my voice, it opens up the gate and the channel opens up, and then it shows my thing to indicate me talking.
Yeah,
But I was
don't I know
watching
it.
today.
The amount of hangouts I've seen where you're guilty of it. So at the start, I didn't bother muting, and I've seen hangouts where you're like chewing popcorn or something, but you can't hear anything because you're just munching something.
Let me see here.
Right, there's a couple more things you need to know. These are just basics that you must know. So along the left-hand side, so if you move your mouse over the Hangout page, along the left, you've got something that says cameraman. Can you see cameraman?
Why is my yeah.
So on the one with stop broadcast on it. So where it says cameraman, if you click that, it brings up a whole load of tabs along the right-hand side. It brings up 3 radar buttons. Now,
You're inside the audio and video.
Yeah, the middle one is basically a switch for these boxes along the bottom. So if you've got more than 2 people, so at the moment it's just you and I, it'll only show whoever's talking or whoever you've put the camera on. But if there's more than 2 people, it brings up these boxes along the bottom. Well, that middle radar box, which says something like present the big screen I see to my viewer, something like that, that one turns off the boxes along the bottom. So it only I think it looks more professional. That's that one. The top one is to mute people that join, so that if somebody's joining a live hangout, so if you've given out an invitation to 20 people and they might just pop in, that's useful so that if someone's mid-chat and they join, they'll be muted straight away. And the last one, which is the most useful for anybody who's sharing their link in their chat, is it turns everything off for anyone who joins until you present them. So when I did the sun tracking, that was immensely useful. And if you're watching this beyond the imaginary curve, that's what you needed for your hangout. You stick it in, and anybody who joins, you can hear them off air, but they're not being presented to anybody until you click on their face and say present to everybody. So in that cameraman app, it's got 3 really useful tabs, especially if you're a newbie and you're going to share the link in the chat, because you can just boot people before they say anything. Then you don't have to go in and edit out their pornography.
Kind of like a comment sort of thing.
Say again?
Kind of like, the idea of approving a comment before it shows up. You're approving their appearance before they show up. I got you.
Exactly. So all the way through the sun tracking, we had people that would come on with no camera, no sound, so no audio, no camera, and they'd be chatting to us. Please let me present. It's like we know as soon as that we present them, they're just going to present something they shouldn't. So they're trying to appeal to us in the little chat box along the side. So that's the next thing. All the rest of them you've probably seen when you've been a guest. So you've got the chat feed, the top radar button. Other than that, there's nothing really to know, other than you don't get audio if you share a video unless you play it through your mic. So sharing video is probably not the best idea anyway, because your chances of getting copyright strikes are higher.
They must have some really kick-ass algorithm situations, like you remember when Shazam popped up? That program, that app that led you to identify music from that was amazing. Great concept, but the faintest little end of a guitar solo and it would be like, bam, the Eagles or something like that in seconds. Now they have another one. I think it's called SoundCloud. Not SoundCloud. It's not as good though.
I think I know what you're saying. There's a similar deal with YouTube. They'll pick it up.
Yeah. And they probably have that in the video side of things too. Like if a video feed's coming over, that's going to present something.
Oh yeah, sure. They'll definitely have something to pick up both video and audio. And it seems like there's different rules for either. If you were to use someone else's video, you could potentially have your channel taken down. If you use someone else's music, they'll just happily stick their adverts instead of yours on and let you, monetize it for the music maker. So it seems like they're a bit less fussy about you having other people's music on. They just won't let you monetize it, or they'll monetize it on the music maker's behalf. Yeah, simple rule of thumb, just use your own material, which this is. Just by hitting record and having a conversation, this is now your material. Nothing about this is copyrightable. It's yours. You own it from now. And above and beyond your guests as well. If I was to come to you afterwards and say, I don't want that show up anymore, you can literally stick 2 fingers up and go, you know, no, sod off, it's mine, because this is yours. Literally, this has now become your work.
Yeah, I dig that. Let me now to access like the watch page, do you recommend going back through, like going back to YouTube Creator Studio, that entrance port?
Yes, if you go back, so this is another good top tip. If you set the show in advance, I'll tell you that after. So yes, I'll answer your question first. You go to the exact same route you got into the show, which is you go to Creator Studio. But then when you get to the start page that you clicked on to start the Hangout, if you click the title, which for you is Haunted Hangout Flat Earth, if you actually click on that title, it'll bring up the watch page. But as soon as that happens, it will start playing out with audio unless you mute it.
Yeah,
so,
I like.
So yeah, the other thing is if you start the Hangout at a later date and you've got the watch page ready in the background, it's always got the ads for whatever Hangouts you've done before, but no one notices there's a little X that you have to click in order to bring the mute up. So you've not got a volume bar until you click on that X and get rid of the ads for the previous Hangouts. So everyone seems to start their Hangouts with the watch page running. It's a consistent theme that goes on, but no one spots that X. You know, you just got to, on the watch page, click the X and then it brings up the volume and you can mute it before the show starts.
I accidentally left that on. You know, I like that how YouTube keeps that X'd out. Like once you mute, YouTube's pretty loyal to that muting. Like they won't start it up. You know, they won't let you open up another YouTube page without it being muted. But
yeah, that's what I had to explain to my guests. So I had to say to them before the show would start, what you need to do is you need to go up and load a random video, mute that random video, then load the watch page. And then one day, I think it was deep inside the rabbit hole, he's like, just click the X, then turn the volume. I was like, oh yeah, I've never noticed.
I haven't heard from Dave. It's weird. Now I just flipped over to watch it on Chrome, and it shut down all the sound.
How nuts that sound for the Hangout that you were trying to watch?
Yeah, well, us right now cut out when Google Chrome came up.
That's just probably an issue with your computer. I wouldn't worry too much. Once you've got the Hangout running, they tend to be pretty consistent. I mean, don't get me wrong. Out of 100 odd Hangouts, I've maybe had 3 or 4 issues where there's been a glitch. But normally, you know, you can either leave the Hangout and come back, and it just carries on running for about 5 minutes if you get disconnected or something. So there's enough leeway to kind of get back in and get it running again. But pretty much, even if your computer's awful, the Hangout will just keep running until you press stop or disconnect for 5 minutes.
I was watching these people talk. It was Michael Tessarian, that flake, and he was like, he was doing one of those, like sometimes people forget that they're not as pretty when they do one of these, like while someone's talking. They're like mushing up their face. Every like pimple, acne mark and shit like that is all like, and they're reading as the person's talking that they should be listening to. They're like, you know, you can see all that blue glitter like flying back and forth and stuff. The tomfoolery of the International Space Age and caveman. Shout out. Bam.
So you've got your chat running. You've not got feedback. Happy days.
I popped the whatchamacallit out. Oh, I hope I didn't just kill anything. Did I kill anything?
No, it's all good.
All
it's
right.
all good.
I popped the chat out because that's the only reason why I used the watch page. You know, I popped the chat out and then, you know, just kind of like leave that. Some people love just the chat. I've watched Hangouts where nothing was spoken in the chat that had anything to do with. It could have been like a pickle eating contest. Nothing.
Yeah, so long as there's a vague conversation going on in the background for people to listen to, they'll sit and tap away on their keyboards.
I'm not a huge fan of Google Chat. What's the matter, Boo Boo? Otis. Odie, come here. It's not really this is a bad backdrop. You know, I kind of have a backdrop. Uh-oh. There's something in this room. Oh my God. It's over there by the couch.
Lighting. It's all about where the brightest place is. There you go. That's not so bad.
Dum, 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 dum. Oh, another big no-no is picking up laptops.
Yeah. I don't know. That's not so bad. In terms of audio, yeah, you get a lot of crackling. Big no-nos for me are when people announce that they're going to the toilet. That's terrible. Just turn your camera off, turn your mic off, just go. Don't have to announce it.
No, and they, you know, yeah. Oh man, that's like it's almost as bad as those urine therapy guys. Like I'm trying to talk about urine therapy, and this one's like, I got to go to the bathroom. It's so stinky too. Isn't it stinky, Bubba? He's like, yeah, it's kind of stinky.
Hey, what do you reckon then? Is it any different running it to being a guest?
Oh yeah, definitely. It's not letting me actually take the window down a little. And it's so
the main thing to worry about is that everything you do is dedicated permanently to you and your channel and your name.
It's interesting how, you know, when people enter the picture, like, you know, someone comes home and they don't know what's going on and they're like, what the fuck? Or like, they yell something out that arbitrarily has nothing to do with something. They're like, oh, what's going on? Like, what is that?
Yeah, there's a whole section on YouTube. It's normally Twitch streamers that seem to get caught with this. So you've got a Twitch streamer and he's streaming his game and he's got his little camera, and then his mom will come home or his girlfriend will come home, and like I say, they're mid rant in their mind. You know, they're just halfway through that rant when they walk through the door, and they just carry on the rant with the person that's in the room. Yeah, that bitch, she was saying this, and when I got there, and then, you know, the person who's on the stream's like, no, shush. You're muted.
In my case, it wouldn't be that bad since I only have 6 people. But
6 people?
6 viewers.
I know, that doesn't matter. So people assume, 6 viewers, who cares? Doesn't matter. Once it's rendered, it's there permanently for people to look at. So
that's true. Couldn't I delete it if it was like a disaster?
Yeah, if it was terrible. But you want every single one. It's not worth your effort. I mean, it's not worth the effort doing it if it's going to get deleted, in my opinion. So you kind of want every single one to be excellent.
Yeah.
That's just me, though. I mean, some people do them and they're so throwaway. It doesn't matter. It just depends what you want to get out of it, I suppose. Well, that's a good question. What do you want to get out of it? Why are you broadcasting right now?
Why did it do that again? Let me see something here.
I think there's my answer. You're broadcasting to figure out how to broadcast.
Kind of, yeah. Oh, you know what it is? I was in full screen. And that was eliminating me getting to the certain thing that I needed to get to. But let's see. Shout out to Ketalogic. Came out of nowhere talking piss drinking, and he's a 9/11 witness. Didn't see planes.
It's the cartoon formerly known as Tim Osman.
Oh. Is this Kettle Logic?
Correct.
Oh, really? Or is it just a Tim Osmond? He knows a lot about me. Kettle Logic. I think I have a fan. He knows I'm the 9/11 guy.
I didn't know that. What makes you say you're the 9/11 guy? What makes you make that statement?
Well, so far nobody's really come out in this, flat Earth realm publicly and said that that they witnessed it, live. I know Dave Weiss says that he saw. His distance was so far, and I think he said he was in the car too. Not that I'm like taking away any credibility from what he said, what he explained he saw, but I was on Free Chan one morning, and I went down to the place that I actually witnessed it happen from in Jersey City, my old address, and here he goes. Oh man! So I went down there. Let me get all serious for Kettle Logic. So I went down there, and it was a moment to be had. Give me. Okay. I'm okay. So anyway, me. But yeah, I went down there and I showed those guys what my perspective was.
Did you eat dinner?
Yeah, it's all taken care of. Thank you. Can't you see I'm fucking busy? Don't make me give you the hammer.
Okay.
I'm busy here. I'm on radio.
All right, hold on. I'm just.
No, you don't say anything. Don't. Okay. No, nothing. There's nothing in here for you. Go.
See, if you were anyone else, you'd be accused of that being staged. Like we were literally just talking about that happening.
It's coming back. It wants more.
Stop! You're being really rude.
As I said, rule number 1: everything's permanently dedicated to air. So whoever's in that background, you can use this against him at a later date.
I know. I got my lawyer here. I got my Kettle Logic in the chat there, who's sure to memorize every single thing that I'm ever going to say.
So what was your perspective on 9/11?
Basically, I heard that it happened. My ex-girlfriend and I at the time left the house, walked down the stoop, got to the sidewalk, walked 3 houses down, went to a ledge, and by the time we made that transition, we went from like the news broadcast, and there was 2 buildings, and 1 building had fallen in the midst of that little transition. So when we got to the ledge, there was only 1 building there. And we were standing there watching the building, smoking and all that shit. And then, boom, I watched it free fall. And there's been a few videos that most of them show exactly what happened. They're they don't need to screw around with all of it. I think a lot of the I was pretty much the planes. Everything else, like construction panels falling and stuff, little bits of debris. I can't say for sure, the last remaining steel beam, whether it disintegrated or not, because that I'd have to be in Battery Park for that. But I was in and around the area on a bike, a couple of years afterwards. So I got to see all the rubble, remaining broken windows and shit like that.
So go on then, for anyone watching, how does that conflict with the accepted story of 9/11? Where does your viewing of that change anything that people might be watching or thinking about 9/11?
Oh, I definitely didn't hear any airplanes. That's for sure. I mean, where I live now, I am just about in the lane or the path of small jets, and they make so much noise. And I know that it's right before they're landing. I know, tomfoolery. Totally right. You know, trying to talk while reading the chat thing. That's a bad thing to do. You end up all stuttered up. Oh, hold on a sec. Amateur at the wheel. Was it fucking amateur hour? So, yeah, I didn't hear any airplanes. There's no reason for me to think that airplanes hit those buildings. It's ridiculous, though. Ever since the guy took the airplanes out and showed the explosions and the puffs of gas and air and all that shit. At this point, it doesn't even matter what hit the building. Tanks could have hit the building.
Why say that?
Well, they're gone, and people died. There's a dude on Free Chan, Pete Shea, who claims like, I'm just saying that nobody died. That's bad. That was bad British. This guy's a Mick. You can't tell me that nobody died. You can't tell me that nobody died during 9/11. It's right. Aaron Dover told me. Aaron Dover told him. You know, because the buildings were hollowed out and all that shit. That's bullshit. Complete bullshit. I was working at Windows on the World doing audio for the live shows every night. And there were plenty of floors, plenty of reinforcement. There's an area in the middle of the building that takes water and brings it up to the next level, to the next half of the buildings, because obviously you can't do that because of gravity. But as for the whole, that in the picture that guy uses, that with the sun coming through the buildings, which I think is just a picture of the buildings being built, or it just looks like a shitty fucking doctored up picture. It's nothing to make me believe that. The buildings had no floors theory, man. What? No floors.
Well, the people who are there don't seem to agree with that theory, and the people who come up with those theories are well, they've not been there. So
I know, they're like 9,000 miles away. It's like, yeah, but we heard the internet, and the internet said it was like this. It doesn't matter if you're like, if you live pretty much 5 minutes and like within, you know, swimming distance of where the buildings fell. You could hear the building fall, by the way, from across the Hudson and across Hoboken.
Yeah, I bet you could.
You could hear it. I mean, it was also a visual where your brain kind of like filled in what you were witnessing might sound like. You know, you kind of puts it together for you. And it was just a low rumble. It wasn't like cacophonic, like smashing and all those sounds. It was just and then the cloud was there for weeks and weeks and weeks. Didn't go away. The wind couldn't even take it away. It was so thick with all that Judy Wood dust. He's another one that I question, you know, God almighty. Why did it have to be her to come up with those theories, which I can run with those, the whole directed energy. It's just she's such a like scatterbrained like goober. The last person who should be explaining anything dealing with that. Well, you see that the way that them fall, well, it dustified. Oh, well, you can't eat Doritos, can you? You know, when I eat toast, it looks like a car. So it's toastified. Now, if you look right here, there's a man falling out of the window. Oh, well, it's the next clip. Oops, I dropped my pointer. Huh. Like, dun, 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 dun. Somebody shoot her. I don't know.
I think the directed energy thing's a conclusion. I mean, fair enough. You know, I can get behind eyewitness testimony of the thing being in free fall. It was, and that makes no sense. But to draw the conclusion of directed energy, you can make the statement that it was in free fall and put a full stop there, can't you?
I think something occurred that the buildings were destroyed, and the whole show was the explosions. Then at one point, the buildings disappeared. The buildings started to molecularly change. The way they fell, they just kind of like, they did that. They turned to powder in midair. And on the way down, the rest of it turned to powder in midair. Like, in other words, if they did that to the building and it was laying on its side, it would have just been like, and it would have fallen, you know, the width of the building.
So in terms of your eyewitness account, you would agree with it turning to dust? Because obviously there's going to be people out there that say you can't describe what was on camera with any accuracy. If you're going to say that there's no planes, it was doctored into the footage, and then you take footage of beams coming out and then disintegrating, I would tar that with the same brush. But you're saying you've got eyewitness, you know, you saw that firsthand, correct?
I wasn't close enough to see that. I wasn't close enough and nobody really was, because the dust spread out so fast that anybody with that sight line would have been running, because all those people were instructed. Like, even if you weren't going to run, there was so much panic in the air and the cops were forcing people to move that you wouldn't have been able to check out those last, you know, areas, which kind of makes me believe that what we saw didn't come from eyewitnesses, because they're too steady. And obviously the one camera angle where who films themselves from the bottom up, drinking a coffee, reading the newspaper.
Yeah, there's a lot of nonsense footage. But one thing, regardless of whether or not you've got footage of it, you know that there was a lot of dust in the air and a lot of people inhaled it. Again, you know, there's lots of the whole thing was riddled with asbestos. You know, it's pretty nasty stuff to have in the air.
Yeah, parts of it probably. It was built in '75, so. But who knows what happened to the asbestos amongst all the other shit? Because I mean, silica is really bad. Silica comes from concrete, and it's super duper poisonous if you get it into your lungs. It's like crystal little razor blades.
Well, there must be studies that have done on the lasting effects caused by that. Maybe not.
A lot of people were dropping from this.
You've got Flat Earth in the title. Sure show. Done 9/11.
There we go. I'm just pissed that the window operates a little differently. Because you know how Google Hangouts kind of like falls back? You know what I mean?
You mean when you're watching the live stream, you've got a bit of a delay?
It doesn't really... The Hangout screen kind of falls to the back of all the windows of whatever you're doing on your computer. Wow, there's so many different names on the chat. The mechanic of the fourth wall, Martin's handler.
Yeah, that's the cartoon formerly known as Tim Osman again.
Hold on a sec. That wasn't that funny though. The mechanic of the fourth. That's way too many words. He could do better than that, I think, right? Daddy, I don't want to finish my urine. Can I just eat broccoli? I guess that's funny. Drink urine and eat your toast. That's not that funny. but it smells. Drink up, young lady. This isn't even.
I like how you're assessing every comment for its comic value.
I mean, nobody ever goes after me because I'm into it. You know, I'm into it. I'm into anyone who's gonna like show like pull that. Because if it's funny, then you got to give people credit. If somebody can do an impression of you better than you doing yourself, you got to give them credit for it.
Sure. I've had people take the piss out of me, and I've given them credit for it. Love it. Brilliant. Thank you very much. That was my attitude.
I told Getty that I was like, you got Nathan's crazy look all wrong, because he was like holding it for way too long and his angles weren't right. But I knew what he was getting at, because there was a few hangouts where you weren't saying anything, but you were kind of reacting to something, and camera got stuck on you for a good, like, I don't know, 4 seconds. And I gotta like, it was like, you were like, no, it was more like, I wrote in the chat, I was like, oh my God, did anyone see that? Holy shit. But he was trying to do it. Like, he was like way doing it, overproducing it. But I'm anxious to see what Timmy wrote about my wife. Missed a good fight. You missed a good fight when his wife interrupted the live show. You should have seen it. This shill needs to spill his blood and get to the candy store. Kane ice cream glory hole. Hi guys, how's everybody doing? Thanks for joining me. This is Quasi Luminous. You guys can call me Mark. I know I talk about glory holes a lot and candy canes in the center of the earth, but you don't have to like it. Just get to the center of the CD. It's right there in front of you. Jesus, you're all retarded. Devin Maggi, look at him. He's doing it.
You can't fuck this up. Got the spear of destiny. It's pointing right at the center. Can't fuck this up.
Can't fuck this up. There's a couple of other offshoots of the Quasi vibe. He's just such a character, Mark Braun. I thought he was blind the first time I saw him. Isn't that strange? The way the light was coming through the back. Somebody said something that made me think that for a second. But I thought that Quasi, Mark Braun, was blind. And he does a lot of hangouts with this girl. I don't know what her name is. And this other dude. Hey, he's a normal guy. Chris Rock, I heard the other day. I'm not a fan of Chris Rock. Let me just say that. You know, Aristophanes was... Stop. Turn that fucking chorus. Turn the chorus pedal off. I don't like that guitar sound. Put it down. He's insane. He's insane. That's all he kept on saying. It's like, no. Quasi Luminous, he's just insane. Jeff, can I say that he's insane? Oh God. What? Oh, Quasi, yeah. You tell him, say whatever you want. Stop asking me. Okay. Jeff, let me say that he's insane. Yay.
You're a proper bitch, aren't you?
What's that? Your visual.
I'm mute, wetting myself.
Yeah, I tried to join one of those. I don't know why. Made an attempt at saying something on one of Jeff Stewart's hangouts. Break free with Jeff Stewart. We're breaking free tonight with Jeff Stewart. And Chris Rock. Sorry, Odie. He calls me on stuff that's not that. Sorry. I'll stop.
Come on, we're ways into this show now. I mean, when you set this show up, I was like, you've got to put Flat Earth in the title because you'll be talking Flat Earth so far. We've got to Jeff Stewart before Flat Earth. That's disgraceful. I'm appalled.
So yeah, I tried to say something in the chat, and then like, well, you see, my problem is this, like, you know, even like the feuds that you guys had, I was always bothering that you never got the person involved that was the issue. It was just people showing up on YouTube talking about another person and the issues that they had with them. Kind of like, well, guess what he did to me, everybody, people of YouTube. And one thing you'll never hear me do is go, hey guys, hey guys, hey guys. That's like the worst. I mean, anyone who starts a video with, hey guys, you're going to notice this now. Every video on YouTube. Hey, what's up, guys? What's up, guys? Guys. But anyway. So Flat Earth. That's right. Globebusters. The worst episode of Globebusters. And that's hard for me to say that because I'm a huge Globebusters fan.
Hold on. This isn't the worst episode of Globebusters. That's what you're going to straight away.
Let me do my impression of the last episode of Globebusters. I got a beard too, so I can do it. No, but it's a simulation. Let me read something. Yeah, but don't you think that? But I don't know. Hey, well, I talk about it. No, but can't you see that it was a simulation with that math prop? I was like, oh, my brain. I'm bleeding. I'm bleeding through all this starting. Like the guy didn't say anything, man. And I didn't want to hear it either, too. I was like, I don't want to hear that simulation shit. That's going nowhere, man. Like, get with the winning party, you know.
What's the winning party? I'm trying my damnedest to lead you onto something positive, you know, something inspirational for your viewers about Flat Earth, rather than not for the love of God, not what you don't like about someone else, please.
Mr. Thrive and Survive is here. That one. All right, that was kind of funny. I'm dying soon. That was kind of funny. Flat Earth and Other Hot Potatoes. Hello. This show is funny thus far. Oh, come on, Tim. You could have done better than that. Wait a minute. I think that is Patricia.
Hi, check if it's them or not.
Yeah, I think I'm hoping Tim Osmond can get me more viewers than fucking whatever I got now. He's got to have more sock puppet accounts than that. He's probably at his computer like, oh my God, somebody's going to let me throw up 50,000. He's like, God, all my characters. They have a place to go. The tomfoolery of the International Space Station. Not Tim Osmond. How far? Why don't we get him on the show? No, he comes on. Then he's going to be like, hey, by the way, fuck you guys. Earth's a ball. So, all right, something positive about Flat Earth. That's right. That's where we're going with this. And don't take that the wrong way, Tim Osmond. I don't even know what you look like. I have no idea who you are. Something in my eye again. I have no idea. I don't know you at all. Never heard of the guy. So, well, Patricia's in the room, in the chat. Oh, I can't do that in here. It's so cold outside. I don't know. What have you heard?
What
Anything
have
that-
I heard that's positive? I mean,
I heard. I have a lead on They like how I ask a question and then jump right in before you can answer it.
yeah, that's good. You've had a thought. Go with it.
Let me answer that question I just asked you. I found an old newspaper that had an article from 2009, and it basically had an article in the back about a shooting in Germany that took place. Some kid went into school and apparently shot up 15 kids, all headshots, gunshots to the head. And I'm looking at it like, wow, this is an old newspaper. Did this really happen? So I checked it out online, and it's the same thing. You know, all the same details were there of Sandy. The same thing as Sandy Hook. It's to me, it seemed like it was like a trial run thing, where they were going to run through just how it was going to work, do a test run in Germany, only have the death toll like 11, I think it was, or 12. Have a lone gunman who kills himself, of course, at the end. Because imagine they actually lived, these imaginary gunmen. We'd be seeing more of Charlie Parker, or whatever his name is, Robbie Parker. Hey, how you doing, guy? Oh, am I on camera right now? Oh, shit. How many daughters died? Who cares? I'll wing it. I'll wing it. You know me. Ooh, hey, you. Oops. Oopsie. I'm on camera. Some of you may know my daughter, Emily. Well, she died. And it's really going to be hard to take. Sorry. We used to draw the bus together. We had a really good time. I'm not crying. I'm not crying. Because I'm not crying. But we need to do something about guns. We really do. Am I done yet? Cut that last part.
Bravo. The Academy Award for fake acting on fake acting.
Fake acting. But anyway, I looked into it. It was exactly the same situation. You know, they took care of it the same way. The cops came in. They still heard shooting, and then they I think they found all the bodies. But there was all this dramatization backlash of this, like afterwards. Like there was a mini series done about it. There was kids doing their own reenactments. Like brutal looking stuff, like all the kids with their heads just blood pouring all over the desks. It was what the hell is this freaking article?
Let me get this straight. There, the kids reenact it afterwards.
It was Winnenden, Germany, 2009, March 11th. Craziness.
Yeah, it's crazy. Fake news is in the news, and there's nothing new under the sun.
I haven't even delved into that whole thing, the whole Pizzagate. I mean, if they're going to try and take away pizza away, they're going to have a problem with this guy. I like pizza. What?
Oh,
What happens when I like pizza too much? I disappear.
That's technically not flat Earth related, though. So I don't know how long we're into this show now. I really wish I hadn't asked you to put flat Earth in the title.
You know, how much do people want to talk about pedophilia? I don't really want to talk about it. It should be spoken of, though. You know, I'm sure Timmy likes to talk about it. Huh?
Do you think it'll backfire? Do you think talking people into the being fake news just highlights the fact that the news is actually fake?
Say that again.
So if you're trying to punt the idea, I mean, I get the mainstream concept. They're saying to the general population or the Western world, there are sites on the internet that broadcast fake news. That's their pitch. But I think it may backfire, and that it actually makes people consider the idea of news in general being fake.
Well, I think people are going to, it's to demonize our alternative media. You know what I mean?
I totally get the purpose of it, but I feel it may backfire. There's just recently a spate of videos, people comparing real fake news. It's hard to know how to term it, because all news is fake as far as I'm concerned.
They want to throw all of the shit into the street, no matter what it is, throw it all out there. It doesn't matter. You know, just get what, if it's true. That's what I tell people about NASA. It doesn't, they never intended for anything NASA involved with NASA to be believable. None of it was supposed to be believable. They were like, well, you know,
this is an interesting concept.
It was designed to be a distraction, just like every other thing that you see on the news.
But by extension, that would mean that the whole heliocentric system was just designed to be one big deception. I mean, I can kind of buy into that, because it's the flip side of the Christian coin. You know, everything's set in polar opposition to heliocentric belief, and when you look at what's the mirror image of it, it's the Christian belief, globe versus flat. And for me, that's, you know, why they keep us tied up in these paradigms. But maybe it's to put the whole shit show on parade. You know, maybe it is to let everybody know that the whole thing's a complete farce, because then they can just keep punting out the nonsense stories as they have done before. But having disclosed that fact to us, you know, it's pissing in our faces.
I've been thinking lately that if people can't tell the news, if they can't get, you know, if they can't figure this out by now, that's the, you know, the selection's been made. Those people are now going to be, the dumb have won, you know, the dumb that have won.
But that's always going to be the case. I mean, you haven't got to convince everybody. It's I don't know if this was a point Thomas Sheridan made on his most recent show. He's saying you've only got to convince 90% of the people. The 10% that wake up to it and realize it's all nonsense, they're just, you know, it's like an avalanche going over them. They'll just be steamrolled into acceptance because there's no choice. The 90% who are the idiotic ones you describe, they're going to accept this crap whether we like it or not. We realize it, but we'll be ignored.
Fuck. Hang on one sec.
It's terrible. It's terrible, isn't it? Have you got a computer-related issue?
Well, it is terrible, but I was reacting to something that just ate my screen.
Oh, there was me thinking I'd made a really cracking point.
One sec.
So who else you got going in your chat? I haven't even got your chat running.
You know what I think people should do on YouTube? They should dump their subscriber counts.
How do you mean dump them?
Like don't put them up. Like don't display subscriber counts. Because you know that the street cred in YouTube is based on not content, subscriber counts. It's like you could be a complete asshole. You could be doing nothing. You could be just putting out garbage. And if you have 100,000 subscribers, people are going to watch your stuff for some reason, they're going to hope that you're going to do something that got you those subscribers. They're going to believe it too. Like, well, if he's got 100,000, he must be doing something right because that's the right thing to do. It's like, no. There's a guy who, you know, I don't even know if I want to say his name at this point. This 600 fucking 601 person in the chat. Still waiting for something funny.
So without saying the person's name, what have they done?
No, I'll say his name. He's got a channel. He's only got, I think, like 100 subscribers. Mark Simpson. Got to be the best look into. Hold on one sec.
Da, 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 da. Super professional.
Let's look into. I know, right? Forgot about that.
You got to remember that because this is now your show. Once this is rendered, you've got the comments section, and every time you say things like "what people should do on YouTube," you're now in the driver's seat doing it. Oh, and everything you do will get criticized.
It's so like it came down to a conversation that I was having with a particular person. Hang on one. Let me BRB.
Da, 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 da. Please stand by. This broadcast will continue shortly. Of course, because it's muted, the camera's fixed on me, and I've got no choice but to babble shit to keep the viewing public entertained, which is just too much pressure. I mean, I've wanted to talk about flat Earth the whole time, so I mean, I should really talk about the fact that water's flat, but I've got no one to have a dialogue with, so I could just tell you, water's flat. It's the best measuring tool for flatness there is. Earth's covered in this stuff. It's flat. It's fairly straightforward. Yeah. It's a hard concept for some people to grasp. For some, it'll blow their minds. For me, I'm just literally sat here talking to myself about it. This is what it's come to. Babbling to yourself about flat Earth and how water is always flat. Hey ho, hopefully we'll be joined again by the host of this fantastic show. Or maybe not. Maybe you'll have to put it with me. I've not even got a chat to keep me company. Just literally a no entry sign in yellow or green or whatever colour it is. If you tuned in earlier, we had some wonderful haunted house bitching. Lots of moans about lots of people. Some great impressions. That was also very entertaining. As much as some of them were derogatory to other YouTubers. At this point, I'll put my disclaimer that I take no responsibility for any of the actions of the host of this show, nor do I necessarily agree with any of his opinions, on people especially. So I'll get that in while I've got the opportunity. Also, I'll take the opportunity to plug my channel, Nathan Oakley 1980. Tune in for many flat Earth related shows. None of them have got any bitchiness. Well, hardly any. Other recommendations I could make? Globebusters, just in the interest of balance. Obviously, we've heard about a terrible Globebusters show and a terrible Globebusters experience had by the host of this channel, but I can only say that Globebusters has been a wonderful experience for me, and I've enjoyed every single one of them. That's not true. Some of them are not exactly to my taste, but controversy is why I tune in. If it was all for me, I probably wouldn't enjoy it half as much. So. BRB indeed. If it were me, I'd just click the stop button, but I've got no stop button. I might go and see who's chatting in the chat, as I've now run out of things to talk about with myself. Got lots of clicking. I'm hoping the original stream that went up before this one will get deleted, because there's lots of clicking and trying to figure out why there's no camera on. And I'm frantically in the chat trying my hardest to explain that he's gone in and started the chat through a streaming part of YouTube rather than an actual Hangout part. So he shut that feed down, started this one up, and within about 2 minutes he got it live and working. I've actually got a stream I did with, I think it was Robert Shortman, where I literally took Robert Shortman through the steps of doing a Hangout. And Robert Shortman, who to my knowledge wasn't making any videos, we met at Oxford, and he's been to the Antarctic. So suddenly we've met this guy who's been to the Antarctic, we interviewed him, and then he's making videos and broadcasting on YouTube. He's got guests, he's talking flat earth. Fantastic. You know, he's currently in his trade, the peak season, because he's a plumber. So he's kind of off the radar at the moment because he's very, very busy. As am I, actually. It's really busy. Christmas, as I work in retail, tedious as that may sound. But yeah, it gets busy. But being a bit of an insomniac, I can quite happily sit and chat to myself on behalf of the channel host, as I hate dead air. What was I doing? I was trying to bring up the chat feed, wasn't I? Let's see if I can negotiate my way to Haunted House's chat feed. And I'll have some conversation with whoever's in there. Possibly Patricia's still in there. Possibly the cartoon formerly known as Tim Osman. We shall see the delights I have in store in the chat. With any luck, Patricia Steers actually shared this show. We've got a few more viewers. Say we, not me. Here we go. Subscriptions, Haunted House. Hopefully you won't get any feedback. No, just my pretty face and a chat room with 10 people in. Woohoo! So, what do they do on FreeChan? Shout out to Carl. How you doing, Carl? And a shout out to, what's that? The Moser Dozer. Your message has been deleted. Be here and love is in the chat. Zoe, how you doing? Hope I'm keeping you entertained with my babbling to myself. What else we got? Carl, is that, can't see at this distance. Stenbeck, who says, oh no! Yeah, mate, I can relate. Hello, Dave Hinkle. Says, hello, peeps. Oh, flicked across. Oh, you're back. I can't hear you for some reason. Your mic died. Are you working? Is it working? He's back, but you guys can't hear him, or he's not saying anything, or his mic's best, one or the other. Oh, chat. We've got nothing but silence at the moment. Right, I can hear you now. I've got you. I can hear you tapping.
Now can you hear me?
Yay!
No, I know what that was. I know what
Awesome.
that fucking was. I use the voice dictation sometimes on you know, like you can set it up so you can hit a few keys and it'll start recording your voice. And man, it's really fucking annoying how I guess I really don't need to look at myself.
Yeah.
But the Hangout window is so like I can't see anything though. It's
But that's
so
good because that gives you. Because I didn't know that your mic had gone, so I was in stunned amazement because I was sitting there thinking, has he just gone silent? What, you know? I didn't know what happened.
Did you get my message in the side here?
It says I dropped a Timmy Osbomb in the chat.
Yeah.
What does that mean?
There were too many messages and like lame jokes and shit. And I couldn't see people that were actually writing stuff. So I just like blocked them and zapped a few. All of these Tim Oz accounts, sock puppets.
Yeah, just assign a few people a moderator. Zoe's in there, just stick a spanner on her. If you go to her name, there's 3 little dots on the right-hand side of her name. Just click it and set as moderator. Of course, then you have to deal with the grief that you get for setting anybody as a moderator. But if you don't, like you say, you get people spamming your chat and you can't actually have any decent conversation in there.
No, see, I don't like when people. It's one of those things that's kind of like, you know, it's like a sensitive thing sometimes. Like if I'm going to use someone else's discretion over mine, or surrender my discretion and give it to someone else who's going to make the call on something, whether all of a sudden it becomes whether they deem something inappropriate or whatnot, and I have to live, you know. Yes, Otis, please. Pseudo truth or life, which means all no subjects taboo. So, but of course, disturbances like, you know, people berating another person. Hang on one sec. What is it, buddy? What's the matter?
Yeah, I agree. You know,
that sort of
thing. It's a fine line, isn't it? You've got you. I originally didn't want any moderators, and all I had was my wife moderating. And because no one spammed me, she had no need to interject. When people got abusive towards each other, personally, I viewed that as quite entertaining in the chat. The chat's pointless. Frankly, it's just a bit of entertainment for the people who tune in live. It achieves very little. All it generally achieves is antagonizing people, but it's entertaining. So just to block the people who've, no offense to people who block all of the trolls,
hang on,
chats aren't much fun.
Hang on one second, Nathan. It seems to me like Timmy's back, but he's definitely more abrasive. I wonder if he'd come into the chat and actually speak, because I never really had a conversation with the guy.
Yeah, have a chat with Tim. That gives me the opportunity to start off.
Why, you're gonna go? You'll go because of that?
Yeah, you said come on for 10 minutes. You said.
Oh yeah. Sorry.
I was like, yeah, I'll help you get your Hangout running. You're like, oh, come on with me. Yeah, no problem. I wasn't planning on it. I've got nothing set up. You were like, just sit down. I was like, well, yeah, my camera's all here. I just have to sit down. Fair enough. And then you disappear, and I'm literally babbling to myself for about 5 minutes solid. Yeah, get Tim Osman on. You can chat to him. He's an interesting character.
I always miss him on like Free Chain or something like that. He'll jump out, or I think the last time he was over on there, I wasn't in any Wi-Fi areas, so I wasn't gonna blow the account again. But I don't know. Let me see if he's responding to that offer. Because I mean, he still legitimately has something to say. I know, you know. I know where he's coming from. I completely understand where he's coming from.
Yeah, from what I understand, like you say, he came in and said he's the 9/11 guy himself, and I've always heard rumors and rumblings about him knowing stuff about 9/11. I'd love to hear a conversation between you and him about 9/11. That would be something of value.
Well, I don't
But
know. Yeah, I'm not getting any feedback from him.
maybe not then. But yeah, you know, if the guy who plays the
But he's not
Avatar Tim Osmond was to
he's
talk
not-
to you about 9/11, that'd be awesome.
Wait, what did say that again? The guy who what?
So if the Avatar known as Tim Osmond came on and talked about 9/11 with you, I know nothing about 9/11. I mean, literally nothing. You, in the last, what was it, first 10 minutes of the show, talked about 9/11 from a first-hand point of view. That to me is fascinating.
See, I don't want to just throw a link out there and then get like get completely decimated by all of a sudden I'll like look out my window and see like tomfoolery guy standing out there. Like, hey buddy, you're a jerk. We're watching. 9/11 was caused by boats going over there. That's pretty funny, actually. By boats going over the horizon too fast. Like, whew. All right, well, I don't know who. All right, well, dump all these press reset chill mirror, like, you know, just be that horrible fucking avatar of George Bush with the friggin' whatchamacallit on his head, with the sarong on his head. Yeah, I know, Carl, I know. Oh yeah, that's right. But I don't know what his I don't know what his whatchamacallit is. That's what I was gonna do. Let me go over back to the window. It's like these days you run out into the chat flailing like a link. Hey, anybody wanna link? Send invite as haunted house. Why do you call yourself haunted house? What are you, stupid? Fuck you. What are you, fucking kick your ass?
You should do more impressions. I must admit, that's how I found your channel, when you did an impression of Validation Boy.
Uh-oh. Hello, YouTube. Hello, YouTube. Remember me? Bad breath? Bad breath boy? Well, I'm stinky today. And I'm mad. And I love the sound of my fucking voice. Fuck, fuck, fuckity, fuck, fuck, the fuck. Well, I don't know. What's Tim Osmond's email address? Has anyone got that?
I mean, by that point, if you're inviting him on, you might as well stick it in the chat, because he's probably the only one who'd give you shit anyway.
There's a Tim Osmond with Israeli flag with like the red circle with the line in it. Gotta love that. Gee. Did you know that Tim Osmond is that's Barack Obama's real name? Oh my god. Oh, really? I thought it was Barry Soetoro. Oh no, wait, that's that other. Oh no, wait. Oh. Oh no. Well, let me check back. It's like the one window so far away from the other one. Tim Osmond has been removed.
I see you've set mods. They're already on the case.
Well, I don't know. That's. I think that's himself pretending he removed himself. Kettlelogic17@gmail.com. Tim, what's your phone number? 655-4321. My number is 8675309. All right, let me put that in there. Keetle.
Wicked. You know what? I can safely say at this point, you're sorted. You're like a veteran.
I don't know about that. I don't know. It's one thing that I'm noticing is it's kind of annoying is bouncing back. Like I usually hit F3 and I'll separate all my windows, kind of do that thing. For some reason, there's another slot for Google Hangouts that wants to go somewhere else, and it's kind of annoying.
Yeah, that can't be out. Just get yourself a proper computer.
Oh. Oh, there we go. Invite. It's worse though when you're actually people are watching you. The perspective of the viewer right now is the worst view. Guy face going. It's like shut your camera off when you're looking all stupid and like not knowing what the fuck you're doing. Mr.
That was me in shocked amazement, thinking that people were getting that face, and then I went to the live stream, and it's my gormless face that the camera's fixed on. So they're all getting a good go up at my gormless face, and I'm looking at your gormless face while you're doing just that. So it's just been a whole shit show of gormless faces, this one. At least a lot of them were impressions of other people's gormless faces.
Yeah, I think it needs to be said if someone doesn't like someone. Well, maybe it doesn't explicitly have to be said, but people in the truth, I say there's no honesty in the truth movement because like we all hear, you've got to change yourself before you change the world, laddie.
I'm just hearing crackling. Can't hear you. You've got your sleeve over your mic or something.
Oh, you know what it is? I'm typing. Let me see something here.
Yeah, so we missed all of that. We got a lot of nice crackling though. Oh no, have we lost Mike?
Oh, I'm still here.
Oh, cool. Haven't got to babble shit for ages.
I just had a bad I was like, you ever watch people that don't realize that they forget their cameras on and they're like, because they've been like, oh wait, that was just me that one time. Like,
yeah, you do see it a bit on Hangouts. People forget they're on air. People forget that they're on air. They forget that what they're saying is permanently dedicated to the YouTube archive, and it's going to get listened to again. You know, people are going to dissect it in detail. So earlier when you were like, who cares? There's only 4 people watching. It's like, well, now there's 10 people, and once it's archived, it could be 1,000 by tomorrow. Who knows?
Let me see. Cognitive dissonance is gone too. No, by Poncho. So this club thing. Since club thing, it's bullshit. I don't know. I sent him I sent Kettle email, kettlelogic17@gmail. There is now a invite in your inbox.
If you ever need filler, all you do is go to the chat. I mean, Validation Boy has made an entire show out of this. Just go to the chat and read out a few.
When you're someone that has nothing to say, as bad as he does, he's got that bad. You know, in his, I think I know one of his comebacks. Like, oh well, you're just getting me more subscribers. Well, it's like Validation Boy. Somebody had to do it. I'm sorry, but that guy just, you know what his take on 9/11 was? Oh my God. He knew everything right when it happened. That's what he told Scarecrow. And I was disappointed when I heard Scarecrow's response. Not that I really expected any more than what I heard, but he like kind of altered his story around Validation Boy's story, who said that he knew right away that it was a conspiracy. Right away, man. He was sitting back laughing like 9/11. Hey guys, I got the info here. Let me tell you the story. It's like, no, I'm sorry. And it's not important that he was involved. He has a note or an email sent in 2011 that has Flat Earth on it. And he was like, you can see it. You can see that I was involved in this 2011, man. It's all about street cred, man. No, it isn't. Who gives a shit? People involved in this since like 2008. Where were you when Christine came out with her book? Is that Matrix Decode?
Ah, Ben.
It's such a weird thing when you think about Globe Skeptic, how like Ben LeBon and Dave Weiss for like 12 episodes. I thought they knew each other on like a personal level, but that was definitely one of the best little things, discussion panels, rooms, whatever you want to call it.
Yeah, it's amazing because Ben, he's got a really small YouTube channel and he does amazing work. He should have a zillion subscribers. When you were saying earlier about people should turn off their sub count and just pay attention to the content, well, Ben Matrix Decode is a perfect example of that. He should have a bazillion subscribers, but why he hasn't is beyond me. And then you can go to some channels and it's literally just kids talking about crap, walking along the street, making vlogs, and they've got 1 million subscribers.
Well, see, that's the thing. The whole idea of subscribers should just be thrown out the window. Something you could obviously monitor or check on if you really wanted to know how many people were into you. Like how many people look at Facebook friends or likes and that shit. To me, if I really
maybe we're hardwired just to look at it without, giving it consideration. You just see it and acknowledge it, and it goes in whether you like it or not.
But I mean, the YouTube subscriber count thing is such a huge deal. Like when they send you all that shit with like 50,000, like you're supposed to have a celebration. Yeah, I understand you're connecting with people, and that's a good thing. Like if I had 50,000 subscribers, it'd be a weird place we'd be living in. If 50,000 people wanted to see my insanity, because I'm so unique. Through the vent.
I don't know. People tune into much more mundane and stuff that I consider totally tedious. People lap it up in spades. They love stuff that you would think is boring, and yet subscriber counts is a weird one because people can buy subscribers, and whenever this comes up, I say, if that is the case, and you look at somebody's subscriber count and go, they seem to have more subscribers than seems, that seems wrong. You just have to look at the view count. They normally tally, they go together. Somebody who's got less than 1,000 subs, they'll put out a video and the chances are it won't have 100 views in the first hour. Somebody who's got more than 1,000 subs will. And unless somebody's prepared to go to the effort of literally buying views for every video they put out, which for me, I mean, my channel's monetized. The chances of me spending one single penny on YouTube is zero. I want the money to go the other way. So stop buying subscribers. But for people who do, just look at their subscriber count and then look at the views they get versus the subscribers that they get, and then go to another channel that's got a similar number of subscribers and compare. And you'll normally find that the one you think has got fake subscribers, the number of views they actually have doesn't match. And then you'll go to one that you think, yeah, they probably have got 7,000 subscribers, and you go to their view count, and it'll be tallying.
Don't you see how that immediate dictation of, or that immediate, I don't know what I want to say. It kind of connotes that they're something to watch based on their YouTube. Like that number says at one point in time, a certain amount of people clicked OK for subscribe. I have channels that I've seen one thing from them and then moved along, you know, like channels that I've subscribed to that I don't even remember subscribing to them. But it's just so, like, Jaren's got 50 gazillion, I don't know what it is. And that's who I was talking to about this. And I was like, you know, you're going to find yourself in a place where you're going to start to change the things that you say based on your subscriber count. You know, you're going to feel like now you have all these people listening. There could be kids listening you don't know and all this shit. It's going to start to sway your personal outlook of, you know, what you want to say. It is, and it has. Because I think that night I don't
know if I agree. I mean, I can only speak from my own point of view, and I would say that I would try and maintain how I was when I had one viewer, and I would like to think I would be exactly the same with 100,000 or 1 million. You know, I'd like to think it would be consistent.
I don't know about that. I don't know if I would be the same. You know, I remember when I went from 14 to 20, a lot of things changed in my life. That was a pivotal moment.
How many subs you've got. I mean, some people, you just watch their videos. You don't really pay attention. Once you're subscribed, you don't pay attention to their subscriber count. You just pay attention to whether or not you want to watch their video.
Yeah, that's true. Because you see it once, it doesn't really, you know, unless they put out something gigantic that gets a lot of press. But you know who should, or I don't know what he doesn't display his sub count. That guy, Your Brainwash. He's put out some really good stuff. And what is he, like 16 years old or something?
Yeah,
like
I like Your Brainwash.
He's put out some really good videos. But definitely check out Mark Simser. Mark Simser TM. He talks a lot like Quasi. He keeps repeating, you see where we're going with this, people? Come on, we see where we're going. He's very Canadian. But man, does this guy know all that Admiralty law shit, all the etymology behind words. He's one of those people who stops words midway and he'd be like, you know, we saw it on the television, huh? Television. And he does it like every other word. You know, you shouldn't be live in the television. It's like, he can't do it with one syllable word, but he's taken apart some interesting things. And you know, do you know anything about UCC1 filing?
Nope.
That's like accessing. It's access for value. It's an A4V form where you basically you discharge debt based on the worth of your birth certificate, because a birth certificate is like a bond or something like that. And with this, you can literally get rid of, you know, past debt. Some guy did it online, you know, because there was so many videos, and I'm sure the government does not want us to know about things like this, but it's one of those loopholes that works if you do it. It's fun to talk about, like, wow, you know, I just got rid of $1,000 worth of debt just by doing this. Wow, that's great. But to actually get on your computer, fill out forms with your name and your social security number, not knowing exactly what you're doing, they've kind of made it a scary situation. You don't really know what you're doing. But according to a few people, it's no, I sent you an email, Kettle. Totally. I sent you an invite, Ducker.
So who are these people that you mentioned?
People are on just YouTubers, just people making videos about how to do this. And there was one guy, he had a phone call going with the IRS which one thing I've learned is the IRS ever calls you, don't say anything because you don't have to say anything to IRS. They'll ask you how you're doing. Then they'll switch over to like, oh, by the way, can you give us an address or, can you verify this? You don't have to say anything, kind of like with the police. But UCC1, Universal something code. Universal. All right, let me actually read it. UCC1 form. Financing statement, an abbreviation for Uniform Commercial Code, is a legal form that a creditor files to give notice or may have an interest in the personal property of a debtor. A person who owes a debt to the creditor as typically specified in the agreement creating the debt. So much back talk in this fucking legalese shit, which is exactly what it was designed for. So this description, collateral.
Yeah, you're into a mind fuck right now. So Easter Hall has spent a wee while now looking into this stuff, and he's wrapped his head around it, and that's great. But communicating it is even more difficult than wrapping your head around it.
This one I talked to him about a little bit, and he wasn't really gonna go there yet because I don't think he because I asked him, I was like, why didn't you haven't put that video out? Why haven't you gone done put that video out? Snack to the future. That's pretty funny. All right. Let me just be right back.
Well, I was going to say, I was going to live and leave you about 20 minutes ago, unless you, I don't know when you're
transitioning to outside for a second.
Yeah, I'm going to be more. I'm going to leave you to it because I'm knackered.
Yeah, that's cool, man. Thanks for thanks for hanging out. Thanks for the input.
It's been a pleasure. It's been a real pleasure. Thank you for having me. I shall see you again soon.
Thank you for the assistance, man. I appreciate that. That was definitely
always a pleasure. Anybody else ever needs any help, drop me a line. I'm always willing to help out getting people online and getting them broadcasting. It's good stuff.
This wouldn't be happening. That's definitely. I saw you in the chat. I was like, oh, perfect. He knows this, and I know he knows it.
Yeah, no, I'm keen to help people like yourself doing this. I'm pleased to see you doing it. Hence me coming on. So thank you for having me. I shall see you around.
All right, buddy.
Take it easy.